Let's make chemistry easy for you people. Today what I am going to teach you is chemical bonding. And in chemical bonding, we are going to study formation of cations and formation of anions. Bonding is the way in which atoms join together to form different structures. As we know that atoms are made up of tiny subatomic particles called electrons, protons and neutrons. Now you know that electrons are negatively charged and protons are positively charged, neutrons are neutral. Protons and neutrons, they are accumulated in the central part of the atom, which is called nucleus. And electrons, they revolve around the nucleus. When we talk of bonding, actually these are the electrons which are going to enter the atom or leave the atom. So it is only the valence electrons which take part in bonding. You know that valence electrons are the electrons in the outermost orbit. It is the aim of every atom to achieve noble gas structure to make itself energetically stable. They either have 2 electrons in first shell, that is duplet, or have 8 electrons, that is octet. Now we come to the types of bonding. There are 2 types of bonding, ionic bonding and covalent bonding. Now ionic bondings, they are formed by the formation of ions, positive or negative. These ions are then attracted to each other by electrostatic attractions. Now wherever there are charges, there will be always electrostatic attractions. Now we come to the formation of ions. First of all, we will study positive ions, that is cations. Atoms having 1, 2 or some atoms have 3 electrons in their valence shell. They lose electrons to form cations. Loss of electrons make atoms positive and gain of electrons make atoms negative. When we say that electrons are lost, this means that number of protons or the positive charge increase. So if an atom loses 2 electrons, there will be 2 excess positive charges, so it will be 2 positive. If an atom gains 2 electrons, it will have 2 negative electrons more than the protons, so they will have 2 negative charge. Let us take the example of sodium. Symbol of sodium is capital N and small a, as I have written. Sodium mass number is 23 and proton number is 11. Here electrons and protons are equal in number, that is 11 and 11, and neutrons are 12. Number of electrons is called atomic number or proton number, whereas accumulated number of proton and neutron in nucleus is called mass number, or it is also called nucleon number. So when we talk of sodium, now I have written that sodium configuration is 2, 8 and 1. That is 2 in the innermost shell, then 8 outer, then 1 in the valence shell. So it will lose 1 electron and will have, you can see in the equation, sodium, it's 2, 8, 1, and when it loses an electron, it becomes sodium positive and has configuration 2 and 8, which is actually the configuration of noble gas, and it becomes stable. Noble gas is neon. Now when sodium loses 1 electron, its proton become 11 and number of electrons is 10. This means it is unipositive charge. Formation of magnesium 2 positive ions. Magnesium's atomic number is 12 and mass number is 24. So magnesium has 2 valence electrons. Its configuration is 2, 8, 2. When it loses 2 electrons, its again configuration becomes 2 and 8, which also resembles neon. So magnesium 2 positive still has 12 protons but 10 electrons. So number of protons, number of positive charges is 2 more than the electrons. Now here we have diagrammatic representation. Now you must notice that we have only drawn their valence shells. Sometimes it is mentioned in the paper that you have to show all the shells, so we draw then all the shells, but mostly we draw only the valence shell. Now sodium, first of all, then sodium positive and it has lost 1 electrons. Magnesium has 2 valence electrons, it has lost 2 electrons, so it becomes magnesium 2 positive. Now notice one thing, that when we are writing down the ionic equation or diagrammatic representation, we are showing electrons on the right side of the arrow, that is in the products, because we are getting electrons in a product. Now we come to formation of calcium 2 positive and potassium positive ions. Calcium has mass number 40 and atomic number 20. Calcium configuration is 2, 8, 8 and 2. It has 2 valence electrons. Now when it loses 2 electrons, it becomes 2, 8 and 8. You must see the diagrammatic representation. On the other side, I have written potassium. Potassium has atomic number 39, and now they both, after losing the electrons, gain the electronic configuration of argon, the nearest noble gas. So when they gain this configuration, they become energetically stable. Formation of negative ions, which are known as anions. Atoms having 4, 5, 6 or 7 electrons in their valence shell gain electrons to form anions. These are mostly non-metals. Gain of electrons increase the number of electrons as compared to the protons, which are positively charged, making atom negatively charged. Atoms which have 5, 6 and 7 electrons, they always gain electrons. Those which have 5, they will gain 3 electrons and complete their octet. Atoms which have 6 electrons, they will gain 2 electrons and complete their octet. And atoms which have 7 electrons will gain 1 electron and form stable configuration. Let's take the example of chloride ion. Chlorine has 35.5 mass number and atomic number 17. Electrons 17, proton 17, neutron 18. Now you must not get confused with the decimal charge. This is its average atomic mass. Now chloride negative has 18 electrons and proton 17. So it has gained one more electron, which means it has one more negative charge on it. I have written the equations. Now you must notice in this equation that electrons I have written on the left side, that is, it is being taken in by chlorine. It's not in the product, it's in the reactants. That is, chlorine is taking one electron and being formed chloride ion 288. Now its octet is complete. It is also the configuration of argon. Then formation of oxide ion. Oxygen has mass number 16, atomic number 8. Its electrons and protons 8 and 8. Neutrons are 8. So when it gains 2 electrons, electrons become 10. So oxygen, when it gains 2 electrons, it becomes 2 minus, and its configuration is 2 and 8, which is again the configuration of neon, the nearest gas. Thank you.